Welcome to Punk Rock Radar. Today we got a little treat. This episode goes out to all the boys and girls with frosted tips and sweatbands. That's right, we're doing Drive-Thru Records. So let's kick it off, John.
All right, guys. So like Matt said, today we are doing Drive-Thru Records. We are hitting the first 25 full-length albums. We're not doing EPs today, so no Sacrifice of Life, no Gambling Problem. And guys, if you don't know, Drive-Thru Records was absolutely huge in the early 2000s. Every single band that signed there blew up. They were part of like that whole like mall punk, MTV punk explosion. And it caused like this rift. Like there was this side, right? And then there was like your skate punk, your street punk side, like your fat epitaph bands. And, you know, you couldn't really like both, but I kind of straddled that fence. There were a few of us brave souls who would wear a homegrown or Allister shirt to a Fat Wreck show, but not many. Matt, how are you feeling about doing a Drive-Thru Records tier list?
I'm feeling kind of out of my element, John. As you said, I was more into that skate, that street punk. So, Hellcat, Fat and Epitaph, bands like that. But, I'm looking over the list and there are some bands that I'm familiar with, like RX Bandits, of course, Newfound Glory, Phoenix TX, Midtown and Starting Line, something corporate. So there are bands I know, but I would say you're more knowledgeable of these. So I'm going to leave it up to you to pick and decide where you're going to put these albums in here. So I know we're doing our tier list, and I think we have 25 albums. So I think, John, you were telling me that you can only do 5 in S and 5 in A, or is that throughout the whole thing we're going to do?
There's 25, so there's going to be 5 in each tier. That's it. So, guys,
Okay.
40% are going to be C and D, 60% are going to be B, C, D. So go easy on me. It absolutely does not mean I don't like it. It's just like S and A are going to be my top 10 Drive-Thru albums, and I'm trying to not do the same repeat bands, but there are some repeats, but, we'll get there. But,
Yeah,
Matt, who is up first?
Yeah, so this first one, I'll be honest, John, I never heard of this band. It's called Cousin Oliver, and the album was called 818.
I'm 100% with you, man. I had no clue who this band was, and I listened to this for the first time last week, and it's kind of surprising, man. Like, you and I both would probably have like really dig this back then. This is like a ska punk record. It's fun. Yeah. It's really not that bad, but because I had no idea who this was, I have to put it in the D tier. Just because I have so much nostalgia for the other ones, but by no means is this a bad album. It's actually surprisingly good.
Yeah, I have it playing right now a little bit, but skipping through some songs, and I'm definitely going to check them out. This does sound up like my alley. With that being said, John, we have the next one is Riverfenix, and if I'm not wrong, is this Phoenix TX?
It's Phoenix TX. They changed the name after they got sued by the Riverfenix Family Trust. But basically how we're handling this one here, I'm using the Phoenix TX album because it's essentially the same song. So maybe like a little more crisp, a little better sounding. But this album absolutely rules. I love it. I don't really have anything bad to say about it. Flight 601, Minimum Wage, All My Fault. You probably know because Mark Hoppus was in the video, was in the MTV Jailbait soundtrack. This is a great album, and this is only in my A tier, so that just tells you how good this list is going to get. But Riverfenix, Phoenix TX, self-titled, is A tier.
Okay, all right, very nice. I like that. I like that going in the A tier right there. So the next one, John, we have probably my favorite band off of this list. So it's going to be RX Bandits and Those Damn Bandits. So where are you going to be putting this one?
See, RX Bandits are going to be the hardest one for me to do because I think objectively they are probably the best and most talented band on Drive-Thru, but they are kind of the black sheep. They don't really fit in with these other bands, so it's kind of hard to take a band like RX Bandits and rank it with like Newfound Glory and Phoenix TX and these other bands. It's completely different. This one is probably my least favorite RX Bandits album. It kind of sounds like it would go on Asian Man Records, which reminds me we should definitely do Asian Man Records tiers. Yeah. But I'm going to drop this in C tier. I don't feel good at all about it, but that's just how it is. This is going to be a tough list.
Yeah, and I like that idea of doing Asian Man Records tier list. So if anyone watching this video, comment down below of any other labels you want us to break down and rank those albums. Leave us a comment and we'll get to it and we'll do a nice little tier list for you. So John, the next band up, I've never heard of. the name does sound familiar, and I did a little research. So this band is Mothermania. So where are you putting Mothermania?
Another band I had absolutely no idea who it was. I remember getting the Drive-Thru catalogs and thinking Mothermania was a compilation CD, but it is actually a band from Asbury Park, New Jersey, Matt, only 2 hours from where we grew up.
Okay.
So it's kind of crazy we had no idea who this was because this album's actually really good. And if I didn't just hear it because of Drive-Thru Records fan on YouTube, go check him out. He's got all these hard to find albums. It would probably be way higher, but I'm gonna have to put it in C. But it's definitely one I need to make a point of listening to more because it's solid, man. It's pretty good.
Yeah, yeah. So the name Mother Mania, I could be off, but Frank Zappa was in a band called Mothers of Invention, and I believe they either had like an album or it was like all their songs put together, and that album was called Mother Mania. So maybe they were big Frank Zappa fans, and they took that from there. Then I'm not sure, but. All right, going into the next one, we're back to RX Bandits, John, and that's halfway between here and there.
This is tough, man, because What If is probably my favorite RX Bandit song. Like, and this album is really, really good. But the next two RX Bandits albums are really good too. Honestly, man, the biggest thing I'm getting out of doing this list is that I need to revisit the RX Bandits catalog because going back and listening to these, damn, they are good. But I'm gonna have to go B. I'm going B here on halfway between here and there. It's a great album, but I can't. It doesn't crack my top 10 Drive-Thru albums.
Wow. All right. I think you're gonna be a tough ranker, man. I would have had this one a little higher, I thought maybe. But
maybe. I don't know. I do have one mulligan, so
okay. Maybe we'll use that today.
I feel
you've never used a mulligan yet, I don't think, in any of our shows.
I think I used one on.
Did you?
In 8 episodes, I've used one mulligan. Yeah,
I think I used 7 in 8 episodes.
I think so too.
Yeah. So the next one up is Last Summer. Remember those days?
I have no recollection of this band or album at all.
Yeah.
I absolutely no clue who this was. I listened to it for the first time this week. And it almost sounds like Lifetime with like ska, which sounds like it would be pretty good. Like it's like ska emo.
Mm-hmm.
It's really not bad at all, but I honestly, man, I can't put it higher than D. I struggled with it again, just like the last couple, Cousin Oliver and Mothermania, but I got to put it in D. I need to listen to more, but it doesn't seem like up to the snuff of the other bands.
Yeah. And speaking about other bands, would you say this next band up is probably the biggest one to come off of Drive-Thru, and that's Newfound Glory? Nothing Gold Can Stay.
Absolutely. Yeah, this is without a doubt, this is the biggest Drive-Thru band. And this album is mysteriously gone from Spotify, it looks like, so maybe it's getting reissued or something. But I mean, this is definitely not my favorite Newfound Glory album. And by the way, Matt, that's another tier list we need to do.
Yes.
I'm a little generous later on with Newfound Glory, so I don't feel as bad about this, but I'm putting this one in C. It's a good album overall, but I mean, we all know Newfound Glory has 2 pretty big albums on Drive-Thru, so stay tuned for those. This one's okay.
All right, John. The next one is Allister and Dead Ends and Girlfriends. I kind of like that the album name right there. That's a pretty cool one. Dead Ends and Girlfriends.
Yeah, and man, dude, I used to absolutely love this album. And these guys are from Chicago, but they played New York like literally all the time. Like I'm pretty sure I had like the largest Allister t-shirt collection.
Yeah, you definitely did.
On the East Coast, but I had this in B, but I actually forgot to rank the RX Bandits one, so I have to wing those. Damn, what do I have to do with this one? I'm gonna go A with Allister, this one. I still think this is a really good record. It's really fun. Yeah. It really captures that late 90s pop punk sound. So I'm going A. Dead Ends and Girlfriends. This is a great one. And for that Fraggle Rock cover alone, it's worthy of A tier.
So the next one up just announced they're going on tour, or they're doing a reunion show, I think. And that is Midtown, John, on the album Save the World, Lose the Girl.
Yeah, this is another really good album. Another band that I feel like played by us every month. I mean, this album's great, but in my opinion, it's like a little top heavy. You have Just Rock and Roll. You have Let Go, which was the theme song for the MTV Challenge for a couple of seasons, I believe. You got Direction, Recluse. I mean, it's a great album. I don't have a lot bad to say about this. I absolutely love Midtown. It's not my favorite Midtown album, but I'm putting this in B, and I thought I was going to do A, especially because I've been on a big Midtown kick since they're back, but maybe later on we get an A tier Midtown.
Okay. And are you going to that show, you think?
I really intended on it, and I slept on the tickets, man. So it's sold out, but I'll figure out a way. I'll get there.
When is it? When is it?
It's in December. It's in Sayreville, New Jersey.
Okay. All right. Maybe we could try to figure something out. Maybe we can go there. The next one up, John, is Newfound Glory again with their self-title. So where are you going to throw this one?
I mean, I'm going S here. I think this album is like, for me anyway, like if you're not counting Enema of the State, which obviously isn't on Drive-Thru, this is the one that really like kicked off that dominant Drive-Thru Records era. Like Newfound Glory, they got huge off of this album, and it's probably in my top 50 albums of all time. Like Better Off Dead, Hit or Miss, Boy Crazy.
Well, yeah, I mean Hit or Miss. That was like the song probably when this album came out for a while. Like that was the top song. I feel like that everyone loved. Growing up.
Yeah, I'm going S, man. Like,
yeah, I can get behind that. That definitely is an S album right there. Just how popular that album was, I remember. Back in the day. That's good pick there. That's a good S. So the next one, John, is Dashboard Confessional, Swiss Army Romance.
Yeah, I don't know, man. Like this is a D for me. Like I don't hate it. Like I'm not a Dashboard hater. Like I think this guy is super talented.
Yeah.
The first 4 songs are classics, but like when it comes to like acoustic songs, like I'm kind of like a drummer. Like I don't want anything to do with it. And if you're gonna throw like nearly an entire album of acoustic stuff, it's just not gonna click for me. But with that said, I can appreciate the album. I think I don't hate it, like I said. But I mean, looking at all these albums, there's no way I don't put this in D.
Yeah, I'm with you. I'm a Dashboard hater. I'll be honest. I wasn't really big about them, but yeah, I agree with that going into D down there because I think there's definitely better albums on the rest of this list that's better than this one.
For sure.
Yeah. So the next one, John, The Benjamins, The Art of Disappointment.
Yeah, like I actually owned this one. This is another one of those kind of obscure ones, but at this point I was buying everything Drive-Thru put out. And I saw them on the Drive-Thru tour in 2001 with, Allister and RX Bandits. But like this one never resonated with me. Like I think there's some okay songs, but I mean, this is another easy D. I mean, the Benjamins are kind of like forgotten for a reason. They don't have any memorable songs, so
yeah.
I'm curious if there's any, Benjamin lovers out there who are going to fight me over this one, but I doubt it.
Yeah, I doubt it either. And John, the next one up again is RX Bandits. Did they put out the most albums on Drive-Thru?
It looks that way. I think
I think they did, yeah.
And I didn't realize I've got a nice little pyramid going here. So
you do.
I'll try and keep that up. But oh God, where did I put this one? Analog Boy, Status. Like I said, I forgot to rank.
That's all right.
The RX Bandits.
Wing it right off the head. Whatever you're gonna do.
I'm looking not only at this, but I'm looking at the next 5 records, and I think I'm definitely gonna have to mulligan later because I think I like this one better than halfway between here and there. But for now, I'm gonna put Progress in C, which I feel terrible about because I actually really enjoy this record. But just
it was a good record.
Based on the way this is stacking up, I don't really have a choice.
Okay. So John, the next one we have Phoenix TX, Lechuza. Is that how you say it? Am I saying that wrong? Lechuza? I don't know.
Your guess is as good as mine, but it looks like I would say Lechuza. And
Yeah.
this is gonna be my second S tier record. It's such a bummer these guys broke up right after this because they were on such like a cool trajectory. This album blends like pop punk and like 80s hard rock and metal. Like it's pretty interesting, and I think Will's voice actually goes really well with the style. And guys, by the way, like if you haven't heard of them, Denver Harbor is the band that Will did after this, and it's actually pretty good too. So check out the Denver Harbor album. And looking at this track list here, I mean, damn, this is another fantastic record. Like I love Phoebe Cates, even though it goes on way too long. That chorus is like 7 times at the end. KDW Threesome, which was the single off of this. Seriously, no bad songs on this one. So easy S tier for me.
All right. So the next one, I'm curious to see where you're going to put this one. So I thought this was a great album, and this is Finch. What it is to burn.
I was actually just talking to someone on Instagram about this one.
This is a good album.
It is.
Like, this is one of my guilty pleasures that I didn't let anyone know because I was into that skate and street punk kind of scene. But this was a good album, like hands down.
Yeah, I know I used this term earlier to describe RX Bandits, but Finch are the black sheep of Drive-Thru. Like there is no other band that sounds remotely close to Finch on Drive-Thru Records. Like it's kind of like that Glassjaw, Deftones style, like post-hardcore. I used to love this album. I mean, like every mix CD, I was a big mix CD. I would make a mix CD for like every girl I had the slightest crush on, and I always put Letters to You on there. Like I feel like that was that
was the song, man.
That was like essential to any mix CD.
Yeah.
But like looking back at this, like the last 8 songs are all over 4 minutes, which it's a little bloated. But I mean, I really enjoyed this record, so I'm putting it in B. This one's fluid. It can go anywhere between A and C, but I'm feeling B for this. It's an average Drive-Thru album. And one thing I will say, like, why on earth was What It Is to Burn a bonus track? It's one of the best songs on here. They released it as a single.
Yeah, exactly.
It makes no sense, but I mean, for another day.
Yeah, that's another day. And I would have probably put this, my opinion, I would have put this in A instead of B. I thought it can be definitely an A one. Well, like you said, this one can go up and down from A to C depending on the day and what you're listening to. The next one, John, we have Homegrown, Kings of Pop, and I think I know where you're going to put this one.
Do you? Yeah, I'm not quite sure where I'm going to put it yet either.
Oh, okay, all right.
I've been going back and forth because Matt, I love Homegrown. And
I know you love Homegrown. Yeah, that's why I'm like, this one's going to me, I think you're going to put this one either in like a B or A, I think. And I'm leaning towards B.
Nah, I would go S or A for this one, but
really, I
think I may have botched this and I put 6 in my S tier. Actually, I'm looking at my list. I actually have 7 in S. So, I'm gonna put this in the A tier. Like, I love this album. I actually remember when Act Your Age came out. I remember reading the Blink-182 liner notes, and I think they thanked Homegrown, so I picked up Act Your Age, and I was waiting for this one to come out. And this album actually holds up pretty well. You've got Tomorrow, you've got You're Not Alone. Those are probably the 2 standouts for me. And one bad thing about this, shortly after this, maybe 2 years, they put out a really, really terrible EP, and then they kind of vanished off the face of the earth. No one's seen them since. But yeah, man, I'm putting this in A, but I mean, if I had a weaker pool of albums, it would easily be S. I still listen to it all the time.
Yeah, no. And with that being said, I think this next one you're going to be putting in S, and that's Newfound Glory, Sticks and Stones. Am I right with that or no?
Oh yeah, this is probably my favorite Drive-Thru Records album. It's probably in my top 15, 20 pop punk albums ever. Fantastic production, great melodies, drums are great. So many good songs on here. We'll go into more details on Newfound Glory when we do the tier list. But I mean, if this is not in your S tier of Drive-Thru Records albums, I I don't know if you're even watching this video right now. I mean,
Yeah, this is a solid one. I mean, all the songs in here are good. I mean, the big one that came off of this one is "My Friends Over You," classic song by them. But yeah, this one's definitely an S tier.
yeah, this album rules. There's not a bad song on here. It's damn good.
Yeah, so I'm looking at your list, John. You can only have, it looks like one more D, one more C. So I'm kind of curious, but what's the next one that's going to go into D? So the next one up right here is another Midtown. Living Well is the best revenge. And where are you putting this one, John?
This is a problem because, like I said, I had 7 and S, and I'm trying to figure out what I'm gonna move. I think I'm gonna move this one. I really really like this album. I love the
Okay.
guitars on it. But I think like kind of like the last one, it's a little top heavy. Like those first 4 songs, you're gonna be hard pressed to find 4 better pop punk songs. But like I think it falls off just a little bit. For that reason, I'm gonna put Living Well is the best revenge in my A
Mhm.
tier. But damn, dude, this is another album I still listen to all the time.
Yeah, yeah. So we're going on to the next one. Sorry there. And the next one is going to be, I believe we're on the starting line. Say It Like You Mean It, John.
Yeah, God. This one, I still like this one too, but I mean, it's pretty cringy now. It probably was back then too. God, let me think. I mean, if I'm being honest, dude, this one's an absolute banger. Like, I think it's cringy, but like, I still really like this. The first 4 songs are crazy good, just like Midtown. Best of Me was a huge song. It's weird, man. These albums are so poppy, but the guitars are still so fast and punchy. Like this style isn't as done. It isn't done as much anymore. I mean, the vocals are definitely a little polarizing, but I got to go A here too. I'm going A. I'm feeling generous. I'm completely out of A, so I might regret that down the road. But I mean, this album's just too good. And Matt, you know, I was actually in a band for a little while called Say It Like You Mean It.
Mean it. Yep.
So I can't put this any lower than A.
Yeah, I agree with you. I agree with you there. So your A's done. We are done with A.
Yeah.
We're locked. Put a lock on it. That's it, John. So the next one up, I just want to say thank you to this band for that one song, Constantine, because girls ate that shit up, man, if you played this song for them. So the next band up is Something Corporate, John.
Yeah, this is another one I'm going to struggle with slightly. I remember like every girl I hung out with had this poster on the wall with Good Charlotte,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah.
It's a decent record. I don't know, man. I honestly I don't listen to this one too much anymore, but I can't really hate on it. Like I think it's super catchy.
Mhm.
I'll go B. I'll go B. I mean, it's clearly not A for me, but
Yeah.
I mean, at the time, I remember listening to this quite a bit, so I'll go B. It's okay.
Okay. All right. So we got that one as B, and we're moving on to the next. We got another Allister, Last Stop Suburbia.
Here's one of my other S tiers. Like you probably saw that coming. Like I said, I'm a huge Allister fan, and this song is like just top notch production. So many good songs. Fullerton, Know It All, Radio Player.
Mm-hmm.
This band needs to get like hyped more even nowadays. To me they sound very similar to the Copyrights. You know, they're both from Chicago.
Yeah.
If those bands ever toured together, that would be a hell of a tour. But yeah, dude, this is easy S tier for me. I love this album. I still play along on guitar to this one all the time. It's just too fun of a record to not be up there.
Wow. All right. So we have one more spot left in your S tier. The next album up is The Movie Life, 40-hour track, Back to Pen.
If you had to guess, Matt, where do you think I'm putting this one?
I'm not quite sure, John, to be honest with you. Is this an S one? I don't know.
This is my last S tier.
Yeah, I figured. Yep.
The Movie Life are amazing. I remember seeing them all the time. Like I said before, my favorite Drive-Thru EP is probably Has a Gambling Problem. I love that album maybe a little more than this LP actually, but this is way different than all the other Movie Life stuff. But I don't think there's any bad songs on here. So it's going into my S. I This is like the last Movie Life album for like a long time, and then Cities in Search of a Heart came out a couple years ago, which I actually really like too. I had a Movie Life shirt on, but it doesn't quite fit me anymore, so I had to switch to my Phoenix TX one. But yeah, the Movie Life are definitely in my top 5 drive-through bands, and this is
You sure? You sure still wore the shirt though? You sure still wore it?
I feel like it must have been washed like 200 times, so it was like almost skin tight. So for everyone at home, I did you a favor, believe me, not wearing that shirt.
Great. So up next, John, we got another RX Bandits. And where are we putting this one?
I wrote A for this, but I don't have any room.
You have, so you can either do a B, C, or D.
This is my favorite RX Bandits album. Now, what I'm looking at, this track list, Sell You Beautiful, Newsstand Rock.
Yep.
It's probably the least ska of the 4 drive-through RX Bandits. I don't think they play much ska anymore now, honestly. I don't even know if they're still around. But I'm going B, but honestly, man, it's really an A. This is like a real, hard rock forward RX Bandits album, but it's just too good. But I feel this one I definitely feel bad about.
Okay. Do you want to take one out of your A and move it to B and this up to A?
I can't. I'm looking at my. I can't. Those are my top 10 drive-through.
Okay.
I don't know what happened to me this week where I just couldn't count. I couldn't even count to 5 apparently.
You got too excited. You got too excited for the drive-through albums, man. It happens. It happens.
I've wanted to do this for a while, and I got all hyped up, and I botched it apparently. But all right.
So the next one up is the early November. The Room's Too Cold.
It's weird, man. These guys are also from Jersey. There's a lot of Jersey bands on here. We got Movie Life from Long Island, and then, man, there's got to be at least 5 Jersey bands. So,
well, I feel like this time period wasn't like New Jersey was just pumping out bands. I felt like, or like this kind of style of music.
Yeah, and it's weird because the label's based in California, but they were doing their homework over here. They were picking up all these bands left and right.
Yeah,
but the early November is a band I never personally got into. It's not really my style. Like, I listened to this again this week. It's one of the ones I'm not super familiar with, and I still don't really care for it. This is a D tier album for me. I know that there's like early November truthers and huge fans out there, so I apologize, but it just doesn't do it for me. I wasn't really into this style then. I'm not into it now. So D tier.
Yeah. So that's leaving us with one album left, and that one's obviously going to go into C. And this is Something Corporate North.
Yeah, I think C is not bad for that. Just kind of the way it worked out. Like, I think 21 and Invincible is a pretty good song. I don't like this as much as the first Something Corporate record. So C makes sense. I mean,
yeah.
Like I said before, Something Corporate is definitely not my favorite drive-through band. So actually, man, I'm pretty okay with the way this turned out.
Yeah, it looks good. Now looking at your list, John.
Mm-hmm.
Would you switch anything right now? Anything out of D into C, C into D, B into C? Or is this locked in? Final answer. This is the list.
I think I'm locked in. I mean, I told myself I wasn't gonna put 2 of the same band in any tier, but then I did it for my S with Newfound Glory. But how could I not?
Well, would you move the self-title and move Homegrown up there?
If I had one move, that would probably be it. That would be it.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking. If you had one move, I was thinking you would have done that maybe with the Homegrown. I know you're a big Homegrown fan.
See, honestly, it would probably, if I was going to do one, it would be the Phoenix TX self-title, but then I'm at the same problem. So I would default to Homegrown.
Yeah.
But yeah, this is my list. Let me know how terrible I did ranking your favorite albums. If you like this, We're gonna keep doing albums on album. What am I talking about? We're gonna keep doing record label
Labels.
album
Yep.
tiers. I probably won't be putting as much effort into the design because I'm an insomniac, so I did all this last night. But let us know how you think I did with my list. And Matt, anything else to say before we wrap this up?
No, man, I think you did good. I think this is a solid list. I don't see anything wrong with it. And if you like the video, comment down below, like, subscribe, and also in the comment section, let us know what label you want us to do next. And we'll take the time, we'll listen to it, and we'll put our rankings in. So let us know. And until next time, we'll see you guys later.